Hello and welcome to Tech Talks by BISINFOETCH. I'm Nikita Kumari, sub-editor at BISINFOETCH. In today's session, we are joined with Mr. Amit Sharma, Director of Matrix Geo Solutions. Today, we are going to understand how GeoAI and new technologies are shaping the today's infrastructure. It's a pleasure to have you here, Mr. Amit. Thank you so much for joining us. And my first question is to you that when we talk about GeoAI, so what is this actually really mean and how it is evolving in these days?
Okay, so actually, artificial intelligence is a buzzword these days. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence is actually impacting everything what we do.
Mm-hmm.
In all type of areas now, AI is coming up. Whether you talk about technology or even the non-technology areas also, the AI is coming up. So when we talk about GeoAI, is
Mm-hmm.
basically referring to when a geospatial
Mm-hmm.
and GIS related, space technologies related things are involved. And whatever if you're talking about surface or subsurface or primarily bringing intelligence on these remote sensing technologies and around those geospatial technologies. And till now, when you see that, like for example, when you start a Google Map, and when you can select a point A to point
Mm-hmm.
B, and your an application is suggesting you which is the right path, collecting a lot of information from here and there, uh, authentic information, what route to follow, and all. And there will be a lot of other things can be also incorporated into it. It's a very familiar and simple example of a kind of a geo AI, where
Mm-hmm.
like intelligence is assisting humans to take a right path, for example. So in similar areas, there are many more applications which can consume map-based data and maybe satellite-based data, image-based data, and different kind of a sensor-based data, and we can deploy intelligence over it, and we can come to a right kind of a solutions. So I think Geo AI is something it will be coming up in a big way, and it will definitely impact the infrastructure, the how we plan, manage, and monitor our infrastructure.
Okay, sir, earlier we used to rely heavily on like manual surveys and maps for the infrastructure or any kind of new development. But now, as we have the GeoAI, so how is that solving the problems with the earlier traditional maps and manual surveys, and how it is helping to scale up those infrastructure.
Yes, so I think it's a very nice question because earlier, if you talk about few decades back, the
Mm-hmm.
large infrastructure or any kind of infrastructure, important infrastructure project used to take a lot of time, especially in planning itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever you want to build any infrastructure, you need to the first thing uh, you need to have is what really exists on the ground right now. And for collecting this kind of information, that you have to go and collect those information from the ground, that what are the existing infrastructure, what kind of a topology is there, geography is there, what kind of a features, natural or man-made features are already there. And these used to take a lot of time and a lot of resources
Mm-hmm.
and manual efforts was required. That's why you see few decades back, the project used to take a lot of time in the planning stage itself and construction stage also. But now, then the different kind of a sensors like satellite, like becoming more high resolution. So from satellites now you can see things more clearer.
Mm-hmm.
So few decades back, I think people the resolution available from the satellite was not so high resolution. So these kind of satellites are now becoming more high resolution, and more type of data is also available, not just in the image format as we see on Google Earth and Google Map, but apart from images also, you will have a much more data related to radar kind of a data, and
Mm-hmm.
different wavelength of the data is also available for different kind of analysis. Also, now drones are coming up, which you can fly from your own height and then
Mm-hmm.
closer to the objects and to a specific area, where you can have much more higher detail data. And when you are clubbing these with the advanced tool for analyzing the data, which is generally machine learning and artificial intelligence based. So that time, this gives you a very deep insight about the planning aspect of how infrastructure can be planned faster and also sustainably.
Mm-hmm.
So sustainability is also a critical issue which every planning has to be like, we have to consider that aspect. And now GeoAI is really helping, using when we are combining the the advanced way of collecting the data, the advanced sensor, and then AI along with that. So it is really impacting a lot of analysis, whether we are planning a metro, sometime
Mm-hmm.
we are planning a, for example, a ropeway in some areas, hilly areas, and then we need to assess the avalanche
Mm-hmm.
risk studies and lot of different types of risk studies. So I think this is making a lot of sense right now.
Okay. And sir, as you mentioned that the Matrix uses satellites and sensor for their collection of data. So could you please simplify how data from the physical world is captured and turned into useful digital data?
Okay, so I will give you some example of few
Mm-hmm.
projects where I think how planning is being done and how these technologies help.
How physical data is turned into useful data?
Right, into useful data, right? So I think and of course you're talking about how the latest technologies it is being
Yeah,
captured
yeah,
from.
yeah, yes, sir, yes.
So I will give an example of India's first bullet train project between
Mm-hmm.
Ahmedabad and Mumbai. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a 500 and plus kilometer corridor between Ahmedabad and Mumbai. And
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about collecting, like connecting these cities of Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadodara, and then up to the Mumbai, so that time you need to find out the right route. What will be the sustainable route? What will be the right route?
Mm-hmm.
And then how it will impact the surrounding connectivity of the cities and all. So if you are like, suppose you are thinking of going on the ground and collecting all this data for the planning of these alignments, where exactly alignment will be and where the stations will be and so many, how it will be connecting to different cities. So it will take a lot of time. But now what we have done, this is the metrics, how metrics have done this, that we
Mm-hmm.
have used high resolution satellite data,
Mm-hmm.
uh, one of the American satellite which gives a satellite data of about 30 centimeter resolution. So 30 to 50 centimeter resolution, that means the 30 to 50 centimeter thing can be actually seen on the images and converted into a meaningful information for planning.
Mm-hmm.
So that we have used, and using the photogrammetry technology and image correlation technology, we have converted that satellite data into a elevation data and map data. So generally, when you want to plan any corridor or any big infrastructure, that time you need to understand what is the height of the topography, because
Mm-hmm.
you are planning infrastructure which is where you will have to like a bullet train. It has to be with a minimal curvature and minimal
Mm-hmm.
up and down the corridor should be. So elevation data is very important, and we have converted the whole 500-kilometer data within a width of about 3 kilometers with an accuracy of about a few centimeters. So that kind of a data we are able to generate within just 30 days. So 500 kilometer in just in 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
If you are, for example, if you are trying to collect this data with a physical means by sending people, so few odd hundred of people will be required
Yeah.
for few months. And here we have converted this information within 30 days. And then that is how the this bullet train alignment was planned. So this is one of the example how the technology can help executing things faster. And this is one of the example which Matrix has done. Another example I will give you, very short example, that we are like, there is another project which is happening from Bilaspur, Manali, and Leh. So
Mm-hmm.
railway connectivity from downhill in like a foothill of Himachal Pradesh up to the Leh. So
Mm-hmm.
these kind of a terrain, these terrains are very difficult terrain. You're talking about like upper Himalayas and middle Himalayas and all. So these kind of a topography is very difficult for a human to go and collect the information for planning. How these
Mm-hmm.
uh, railways
Because
can
it takes too much labor,
much time.
manual
Yes.
labor.
So in this project also we have used these kind of a technologies for collecting the data and planning of these alignments. So I think there are a lot of things where, as I mentioned, we have done almost 1500 plus projects So there are enormous projects we have done here in India for different use cases where these technologies have really made an impact.
Okay, sir. And so there is like whole pipeline while collecting the data and you making it useful. So I want to understand at which stage AI comes in and how does that AI helps you to make better decision and faster decision for your any kind of project.
Okay, okay. So for a infrastructure lifecycle project, there are like different stages. So
Mm-hmm.
one is the one thing is the planning stage where you
Mm-hmm.
plan a project. Then there is another stage of the construction when you start a construction and you want to complete the construction faster.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a maintenance stage, operation and maintenance. The
Mm-hmm.
third thing is where you try to operate and also maintain for a for a longer lifespan of that infrastructure. So in all these three areas, these technologies and GeoAI makes a lot of sense. Especially as I talked about recently about planning, how in planning these technologies can help in taking smarter decision on the alignments and how it is going to impact the surrounding area and connectivity. Similarly, in the construction also, a lot of insights you want, for example, for related to safety, related to auditing of the work done, the quality and progress of the project. So in this case, if you are utilizing, for example, drones, and you are collecting high resolution video and imagery data from those drones and converting them into analyzed output where AI is taking decision on the quantity of the progress and verified quantity of the audits, also the quality of the construction that also can be assessed, and also the safety of the safety methods which are being adopted during the construction, that also can be handled using these technologies. And we are using these technologies for various these kind of a project which is actually in the construction phase, and we are deploying these drone based technologies where drone can fly on a very low height of about 40 to 50-meter height above the construction site, and it can capture the whole data, and
Mm-hmm.
where we covering the progress, quality, and safety kind of a analysis by applying these
Mm-hmm.
image analysis technologies or machine learning technology and artificial intelligence based technologies, where where system is already giving an alert if there is a safety breach or security breach in those areas. So this is another area of the construction. And during the life cycle management also, like I will give an example. In Indian railways, there are many old bridges which is built from the British time also. So and still they are in operations.
Mm-hmm.
They are in operation. So about 50 to 100-year-old bridges are there where train is already running. So as a government, we would like to always maintain and monitor these infrastructures so that they are always safe to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, this is a particular use case where we have applied these technologies, where uh, people used to go on these areas collecting by a rope and ladder and access these areas so that they can
Mm-hmm.
see if there is any crack or some deformation is happening in the structure of the bridges. Now we have replaced that with a drone technology, where drone can go in a very interior and inaccessible part of those bridges, and our AI model is automatically detecting if there is any defect happening, maybe a crack happening in a concrete surface, or maybe a geometrical deformation is happening on the part of the bridges. So that may and we can analyze them automatically and find out a solution, what should be the right solution for the
For the
right
projects.
for the projects. So
Mm-hmm.
for the operations and maintenance phase also, the these remote sensing technologies, geospatial technologies, and clubbed with AI makes a lot of sense because they can learn the problems and they can respond uh, faster on giving the alerts that if something going wrong or
Mm-hmm.
not suitable for the
Okay, and so most infrastructure maintenance is reactive. So how does combining IoT sensors with geospatial data help to move forward with predictive maintenance?
Yeah, so I think as I mentioned in the earlier point also, that how these technologies are helping keeping a bridge safer. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so especially like drones can create a 3D model, digital twin of these kind of a bridges, or for example, a dam. Now there is a act recently passed by government for the dam safety related act. So I think in that also we are focusing on collecting the geospatial data regularly. Also in building these sensors, like for example, wind sensor, the tilt sensor, and then maybe vibration sensor. There are various type of sensors are now also available which can
Mhm.
physically deployed on these things, and then we can analyze the relationship between physical structure of that asset from digital twin, and also relationship between the data coming from different sensors, and then AI can work on it for giving
Mhm.
you a predictive alerts that these things are likely to happen, or this particular kind of a action has to be should be taken. So this can really help in the enable the predictive maintenance. So right now, as we understand, most of the things are like now these things are coming up, but I
Mhm.
think few years back still it was reactive only. When there is an accident, when there is a problem, then only we are fixing it up.
Mhm.
But now I think when you apply these technologies, geospatial, remote sensing, and inbuilt these sensor technologies along with AI, so I think a lot of predictions can come. It will help us to analyze the patterns, what is happening in a structure or in infrastructure, maybe related to traffic, maybe related to climatical conditions and different
Mhm.
types of scenarios, and it can definitely help us in the predictive maintenance.
Sir, as you mentioned that GeoAI is helping in various sectors. So I want to understand which sector gets the most benefit from it, and like how we increase this benefit in different areas as well.
So I think, see, right now, GeoAI kind of a thing is in smart cities. It is coming up,
Mhm.
right? A smart city planning, and then combining the
Mhm.
wind data along with this. So this has been implemented in across world also, and in India also. A lot of efforts have been made to apply that. In infrastructure sector also, these things is coming up. But we have it's a big nation. India is a big nation, so things take
Mhm. Mhm.
time to be
Mhm.
implemented fully. But I think a lot of awareness has definitely happened recently,
Mhm.
and now most of the stakeholders know that the advantage of these technologies, and they are looking forward for adopting these technologies and then applying these technologies on various infrastructure. But I would definitely say there's right now, apart from just infrastructure and smart cities and all, but the application of GeoI is enormous across different sectors, whether it is a
Mhm.
mining, whether it is a
Mhm.
forestry,
Mhm.
okay, whether it is a rural development, and and variety of use case, maybe in irrigation, agriculture.
Mhm.
So in many different areas, the application of GeoI is there, because as I mentioned earlier also, that GeoI is talk about geospatial information and combining that with AI, and anything which is spread over a large geography, whether it is forestry, agriculture, mining, and a lot of things. So the application is definitely is there, and we see the world will be going toward the GeoI soon, and more deeper in
Mhm.
penetration.
Mhm. Okay, so my last question is to you that how do you see GeoAI and digital twins shaping the future of India's large infrastructure over the next few years?
So I think some of the points like we have already touched in the
Mhm.
like this thing, but I think digital twin we talk about
Mhm.
creating a digital replica of our world,
Yeah.
where we are talking about the all the man-made, natural, on surface and subsurface
Mhm.
map. Okay, and so we can create a digital twin. This is called basically digital twin, where you are creating a digital replica of whatever you see on the ground around you, and of course you something you don't see, like for example
Mhm.
underground utilities of your fiber cables, your gas
Mhm.
pipelines, electrical
Mhm.
pipelines, water pipelines, and so on.
Mhm.
So you would like to map the things which is visible and not visible also, which is under
Mhm.
subsurface, and you want to map them in 3D environment. This is called basically digital twin. And when you add the once you have these kind of a digital twin available, then you can integrate with IoT and different type of sensors using IoT technology, and then a lot of advantage we can gain by the relationship between a geographical relationship and some sensor-based relationship applying on it. So I think in India, Survey of India right now coming up with digital twin projects. So
Mhm.
recently there are tenders, there are requests for proposals, and RFPs are there. We are also, Matrix Geo is also empaneled with Survey of India. We are helping them to like applying these technologies across different cities. So now they are coming up with this kind of a digital twin of the larger cities. And I think recently there was a tender of 10 cities. So I think so the government is already looking toward this thing. And right now also we won a project of Survey of India in Gujarat, where we will be doing demonstrating the digital twin technology for to the Survey of India, which is a national mapping agencies,
Mhm.
and based on that experience, this will be further spread it over the larger areas. So the basic concept of the this thing is that nation is looking toward building a digital twins now, and the second phase would be that combining this geospatial rich data to the
Mhm.
sensor technology along with IoT, and then we can solve lot of things. Because when you combine two information, geographical information and sensor real time sensor information from different things, so then you can do different kind of a predictive analysis, and then of course your things will be more predictive than reactive.
Okay, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, and it was a pleasure meeting you to understand how GeoAI is shaping our smarter cities and new projects in today's time. Thank you so much for having this meeting with us. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much. Have a great day.